Guys, let's see what we can get done today. Didn't know if the dog wanted to stay in or not. Okay, very cool. So I'll show you guys. I was working on it a little bit past stream. Oh, I forgot to turn all my lights on. My bad. I was working on it a little bit past stream, and that's just because I'm excited about it and I want it to be good, and I don't know if we'll be able to finish it. I don't know if we'll be able to get in everything I think it needs to be good in the next 10 streams. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of work on the side probably. But the project is pretty much open source, so you can do whatever you want. Let's see then. Okay, so let me show you guys sort of what's been going on. That should be good to go. Okay, cool. So basically, you can now shoot a web, or shoot silk, I should say, and you can kind of move while you're doing it. I'm not doing any crazy physics like wrapping around this pole or anything, although maybe I could be doing that. And I'll probably experiment with that later. Let's see. So you can get a nice swing in. Huh. Okay, interesting. It must be that if you're going fast enough, you can break the joint. Yeah, so then there's also this thing where you shoot it, and if it never attached to anything, you'll shoot another one as if you were still producing the silk, which is kind of fun because then you can do stuff like this. And then you can even get more interesting with it, where you can do stuff like this, and then you have all these strands kind of chilling there, which is fun, I think, in a weird way. Or like satisfying, maybe. You can't do anything with that, per se, but I think that's pretty cool myself. So today we'll see if we can get a couple things in. If we can get in silk pulling, so when you're swinging you can pull and it'll launch you forward. B, silk releasing, so if you're holding a strand, so if you're releasing a strand, then or if you're letting go of the grip button a little bit, you'll slide down. I think that would be pretty cool. And then B, and then C, maybe like, I thought it could be kind of cool. I don't know what you'd really use it for, but I thought it could be cool to, if you shoot two strands and then you're holding this one and you move it to this hand and let go, that it'll just attach to this hand. And that now you'll be holding two with this hand until you let go, then those will be done. So we'll see. I don't know yet. That last one will be a little bit of a doozy, so we'll see. Okay. And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Okay. It looked like if you're going fast enough, you break the joint that we're using. So let's go in here to set up joint. And I'm sure we can set some sort of like, let's add a configurable joint to something and see what it is. So they're set to infinity. Yeah, it's set to infinity. What's this whole soft joint thing that I'm using? Soft joint limit. What is that? And then I set the limit to the distance, contact distance to something. I wonder if I can set the bounciness to something low like that. I wonder if that would give me kind of an interesting little thing. And then I guess we'll set the brake force, but it looks like it's already set to infinity. But we'll just make sure. Okay, cool. Let's see what that bounciness gets us real quick. Something is going horribly wrong. Oh. Alright, for now we'll just get rid of the bounciness. Okay. So, I guess let's start with the sliding. Which is basically this. I guess we'll put that here. Get rid of that. And then we'll say if hand.state equals handstates.swinging. Set web length. If grip button not fully pressed. You know what? We're going to put this in here. We'll return. I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to up here and enable. All right, I'm pretty confident I don't need these things anymore. So I'm just going to get rid of all of them. Not even sure I need web nodes. I do not, because that's now happening in the draw web script. Let's get rid of this too. Okay, cool. So then we'll do XR controller input dot right grip axis. Right grip axis plus equals set web length, which we'll rename to set silk length. Okay, very cool. And then in set silk length, let's do that, and let's just debug X for now. Just because I'm curious. Oh, I see. I was wondering, I was like, man, that's really weird. I was pretty sure that was all correct. All right, let's do it again. Okay, so just 0 to 1. Zero to 1, I was just making sure that that works correctly. I do think... Okay, I am curious. I will say that I am curious when it calls released. So unfortunately released calls release seems to call before, and just to be clear here, released is called when the right quit button is released, which is when that is let up. Yeah, it's not really the kind of, I guess that's not really the behavior I'd like, but that's fair enough, I guess. It's released like halfway through you actually releasing the button. Okay, I'm not sure where it... How best to do this? Clearly debugging at every frame is not working. Let's just make a Boolean real quick. cool. And then up in the release, wow, that's rough. So it looks like at 0.5, it's going to say that it released. Okay, two ideas here. One, fine. I just make it so that it's like fine. Okay, whatever. I make it so that it's you only get that little bit of leeway. Second idea, I write my own release that essentially, and I think that's what I'll do because that shouldn't be too hard, but we'll need to rework the scripts a little bit. And what would that mean? It would basically mean that everything is going to subscribe to what essentially is going to be an update function. Man, I don't know. Because I basically would just need to... I guess I could just subscribe to that one, then have 3 other internal actions that I subscribe those to. That maybe wouldn't be so bad. Okay, let me see. So I'll subscribe grip button handler. Let's do it just with the right hand right now. Then you have this grip button handler, it takes in a float X. So let's start with if X is less than, geez, dog. This dog's farting all over the place. If it's less than 0.05, if it's less than 0.1, release silk. If X is greater than 0.9, shoot silk. And then set silk length with X. Okay, so then you have when it's less than Hi, I can use Unity 3D without internet. Hey, Super Animation, glad you joined us. What do you mean you can use it without the internet? Are you asking if you... what's up? What's up, Nick Monet? How are you? I'm glad you showed up again. Um, wow, okay, sorry. What do you mean you can use it without the internet? Are you asking or are you stating that you can do this? And how's it going, Nick? You having a good day? And it looks like we also have a third person in here, so hey to you as well. I hope that you're having a good day and thank you for joining. Super. Sorry, Super. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. Let me show you guys what I'm. Let me show you guys my progress so far. I'm currently making something that would have broken everything. Let me see. Okay, that should be fine. Hey, Tony. And I'm doing good, Nick. I'm having a good day actually. It's Friday and I'm excited about this game. Let me show you guys why I'm excited. It's pretty cool. It's really coming together. Okay, so of course you can still climb, you can still jump and stuff like that, but now you can swing. This web, we jump off here, get some speed going, and get some nice swinging going. You can shoot one and let it go, and it'll kind of shoot like that. You can shoot two. So you can shoot two like this, and then probably let go of that one. Swing down here. Swing around. And grab onto this wall. Oh, I bounced off of it. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. So that's all coming together. Hopefully that looks cool to you guys as well. I'm pretty excited about it personally. But currently, right now, I'm basically currently trying to make something where if you release the grip button a little bit, you'll actually increase the length of your silk. That way, basically, you can shoot it, then let it go, and kind of let yourself down. I think that would be really cool. Oh, awesome! Thank you, Nick. Yeah, Discord is a great place to learn about Unity and things like that. So, should be good. Do you guys know Super Animation? I'm curious about what he was asking about, but all he said was he can use it without internet. Okay, cool. So back to this. So basically it turns out that if you release the grip button only halfway, it'll say that you released it. So I'm writing my own function that will hopefully, good friend, I don't know how to speak English very well, but can you use Unity without internet? Yes. Yes, you can. You can use Unity without internet, unless, of course, you were making some sort of networking game. But yeah, you can totally use it without an internet. I can't disconnect right now because I'm streaming to you guys, but you would see that you do not have a problem. Of course, there are some things that you cannot use, such as... where is this actually? Well, let these scripts load in. There's like collaborate, these services. So I don't really use any of these, but you see even these ones. Like collaborate allows you to upload your progress to the web and then people can pull it down. So it lets teams work together. Like if we were working on a game and you were somewhere else, I could upload what I did, you could pull it down. Of course you would need internet for that, but no, the rest of it you can just totally make games. No problem. Are you thinking about making games, Super? All right, let's see here. So I have this new grip button handler. And then basically I'm just kind of holding equals false. Okay, so if it's less than 1 and you're holding, release the silk and set holding equals false. If greater than 0.9 and not holding, and let's go ahead and make this holding grip. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Do you have any experience in it, Super, or are you just getting started now? And what kind of games do you want to make? That's always kind of a fun question, since everyone has their own preferences. Let's see. And then holding grip equals true. And also, if you have any, I'm going to subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Super Animation. These games are free. I don't know if you have a Quest, but I'm just going to release these games for free, so you'll be able to play them if you'd like. And if you have any other questions while you're here and watching about why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, just let me know. Okay, holding grip equals true. And then set silk length will basically always call. Okay, so let's see how that does. So we've subscribed the right hand to it instead of subscribing to all this other stuff. And then I suppose we should get rid of this as well. And unsubscribe it. So let's see how that feels. Okay, very cool. So it does work. So I think for right now, we'll roll with that. And see if we can get this other script in. And we can always switch back. We'll keep that code there just in case. Yeah, I'm getting there. I've been doing, the tutorial videos have been helping a lot with bringing people in. I need to make more of those. I'm getting like really caught up in my, is it hard to code? It is not hard to code, Nick. You could definitely do it. Do you have any sort of inclination towards mathematics, or even if you don't, it will still not be difficult to code? I guess I'm wondering on what type of coding you would be doing. Because if you're more of an artsy guy, you could do something like web design or games or anything like that. But if you're a mathematics guy, you can really, all code will probably appeal to you. Yeah, so I'll say that with programming, it's basically the experience you have programming is basically going to be that it's going to be about 3 months of a little bit of confusion, and then once you understand it, it's going to make total sense to you, and you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't know why this was confusing me before, because there's sort of this language to it. It'd be like if you were learning German, for instance. Initially, you're like, I don't know, the words don't really make sense, and then you start understanding some of the words, and you're like, oh, okay, this all totally makes sense to me now. So coding will be a lot like that. But if you're interested in learning to program a little bit, which I always recommend to everybody because it's much more creative than people think it is. I would recommend especially if you want to do games, you could go to Codecademy, which is free. Anybody can do it. And I believe they have a C#. But yeah, I'm just telling you right now, I'm telling you right now that when you start, you're going to be like, this is confusing. I'm just so stupid. I can possibly do it. It's just something for everybody else. And then if you just do it for like 10 more hours, you'll be like, oh, okay, never mind. This makes total sense to me. I don't know why I was being so hard on myself. And then you should do C#. These are a bunch of languages here, but C# is the one that I'm using to program games. So it would get you into games quick enough. Just be wary of your own brain telling you that you can't do it, because it will try to do that, for sure. And I 100% guarantee you, even the stupidest person could program. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at this logic right here. Basically, every every frame of the game, this is going to call and it's going to tell me how pushed down the button is using this number. And then I'm basically saying, okay, if that number is less than 0.1, release it, which is because you released the button. If it's greater than 0.9, then shoot the silk. Like, it's really not that, that's not nothing that crazy. I'm just saying, hey, did you release the button? Okay, then release the silk. Hey, did you press the button? Okay, then shoot the silk. But it's just in a language that you don't really understand yet. Okay, so that should be good. And maybe we'll even go ahead and make this 0.2 and make this 0.8. And then that will give us a nice little range to work with here between 0.2 and 0.8 for the setting of the length. Okay, cool. So let's check this out. So the magic seems to happen right here. Okay, so amount pressed. Let's just make that X. So now I'm basically saying if they're not swinging, return, because I don't want to do anything there. But if they are swinging, then check if it is less than the grip slide threshold. And if it is less, then soft joint limit, stud limit, web descend speed, so I need to create this as well. And I'm just doing some basic math here to increase the length of the silk. And it looks like later I wanted to play a rope sliding sound. Okay, very cool. The problem is that I don't have access to the joint at this particular point. So I do have access to the lead to body. What I need access to is the soft joint limit. And I guess I can pretty much, I guess for now, I'll just break that out. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Basically, I'm just making it kind of a global variable. And this is a little bit more advanced stuff, but I'm basically just making it a global variable. That way, I can access it in other places. Okay, I don't know why that didn't work. Okay, cool. So let's see if this works. Make these public. Okay, and then real quick we need to go in and set the variables. Because I basically created grip slide threshold 0.79, web descend speed. I guess let's make it 10 just to see. I don't know how high of a number this is going to need to be. Let's just see that it works first of all. Then we can change that to some number that actually makes sense. Okay. So let's say I shoot it. Then I try to back up. I'm connected to it. Now I'm hanging. If I release it a little bit. Oh no! Oh. Okay, so basically what's happening is that number is like insanely high right now. So it's increasing the distance. It's increasing the length by like a lot. So let's make it, let's even make it like 0.5. Okay, let's make it 1. It might not be exactly obvious what's happening since... Okay, so it's getting longer there. I fall to the other side. Okay. So it's kind of like I'm repelling. Oh, ah! Okay, so 1 is too little. And this is at this point just a design problem where I'm just trying to figure out what the best speed would be. Let's try 5. Seems to be working pretty nicely. I can't, it's like kind of jittery. Sorry, you can't really see it, but there we go. There's a smooth transition. I'm just trying to get it to feel smooth, and it currently is not doing that. So I think again it's slightly too little. Just make it 10. We'll do a binary search. We'll do 10, then we'll do 7.5, then we'll do 8.75 or whatever until we find it. Okay, very cool. So I think 10 probably works for now. Okay, one other thing I want to fix real quick is when it's released, this thing here, I need to make its linear drag something higher. Maybe like 0.1. Because when I release the silk, it's got the same drag as I have, so it's basically just sitting there next to me, which it shouldn't be doing. It should like fly off. So let's see. So if I shoot, then let it go. Oh, you know what? Oh, ow. Yeah, there we go. That's better. It's better. It's still not great. Let's do 0.2. Yeah, so sometimes a lot of game development is like this, where you get something coded in, but now you're just trying to make it good. There we go. That's better. Okay. Okay, very cool. So now okay, cool. So now we're gonna try to do silk pulling, where basically if you shoot and then you pull backwards, it'll launch you in that direction as if you were actually holding a silk, you know? So that should be cool. So I believe we already have a script for that, more or less. And let's see. Do you have any games in mind that you would like to make, Nick? Like the type of game you'd want to make, or any thoughts on a game? Because once you start realizing you can make games, it pretty quickly becomes like a flood of ideas. Because games really have no limits. You can make whatever you want. I think people maybe think they have limits because everybody just makes shooters all the time. But as you can see, like this game is totally ridiculous, I think, as compared to normal games. And you can pretty much just do whatever you want. Okay. Let's see here. So I have this, it's called Silk Paul. Let's go ahead and uncomment it. The pulling of slings you forward. Okay, don't need that. Okay, let's take a look here. And hey to whoever just joined, we are currently making this Silkworm. It is a spider-like in which you swing around New York City, you climb buildings, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Right now we're getting in silk pulling, so if you shoot a silk strand and then you pull it, it'll launch you towards that. So we have a script here that we're kind of working through. Okay. Cool. So what happens here? Okay, so if the state is good, I'm almost thinking maybe this doesn't need to be its own. Hey, Thought, glad you made it. Hopefully everything is going well for you today. Oh, I'll show you real quick. I got in swinging. I got in two things actually that you might be interested in. There's no audio yet, so it kind of doesn't really come together, but you'll see. All right, so first of all, you can swing. So that's cool. And I made it so that you can add a little bit of force while you're swinging. That way you can get like a nice swing going. But you could do a jump off and then be like, pew! Oh, a little too much speed there. So that's pretty cool. That really brings it together. Well, let's see if I can land on. No, I'm not even close. Woo! Oh, wow. Okay, it's also pretty cool, Thought, because you. Let me land over here. Yeah. Okay, so I made it so that if you shoot it, and then before you attach something, it'll shoot off the other one, which I guess is what would happen. Although, now I'm almost thinking. Nah, whatever. Okay. But it also will stick to the wall, so you can kind of just like draw, which is not really anything gameplay wise, but it's kind of fun to do. And then it's also pretty interesting because you can do stuff like this where you have all these. Dang it. Yeah, there we go. Where you can like put it across things. And you can't do anything with that. Right now, at least, I suppose. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what I could do with that. I guess let me know. But I do think it's cool. So you're slowly getting more mobile. Was curious to see progress. Impressed by that. Looks awesome. Thank you, broski. I appreciate it. Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for people to play this game. I think it's going to be hilarious. That could be a mechanic to trap enemies. Yeah, so I was thinking, if I have time, maybe I could. I mean, maybe I could make some sort of like spider crawly things that are on the walls that you can kill. And I don't know, like, I don't know really what you would be doing. I mean, it's really supposed to just be kind of a. I don't know. I don't know how it would work necessarily. Something like that. I don't know how the fighting would work because I don't have any fighting mechanics in right now. I guess besides just shooting them with your web or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But yeah, it'd be really cool to trap people like that or like build a web and then sit in it or something like that. That would be fun as well, I think. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could probably. I wonder how hard it would be for me to make it so that you can stand on it. Anyway, that's probably getting too complicated. Yeah, build a hammock, something like that. I think that would be really cool. But anyway, we'll get back to. Oh, and I didn't show you, but if you release the grip button a little bit, you'll slide along the web. Like you'll release web out. Like in that scene where Spider-Man, like, when basically when he flips upside down and lowers himself, you can do that now. So that's pretty cool as well. And I wonder if there's a. Sorry, I was just thinking about something. Okay, anyway, so soak pole. So how does it work? First of all, it checks the state, and then it gets a vector that's point to your hand. And it should be, I don't know if you are familiar with this math, but to get a directional vector from one point to another, if you minus that point, if you take this point and minus this point, it'll get you a vector from this point pointing to that point. So that's how you get like random directions like that. But you just have to remember that the one that you're subtracting from is the one that is the direction that that vector is going to point. So that's cool. Okay. Okay, then I get the world direction of the hand velocity. Then I do a dot product of those two. And I say if the dot product, if the dot product is greater and hand velocity magnitude is greater than web pole hand velocity threshold, increase the time count if the time count. Where would someone go to learn to code the mechanics behind all that stuff? I get confused with vector math and even more when physics creeps in. I was good in university, but that was way back, and that was different than applying it to games. Know of any courses that lay a good foundation? Let me think. Like basically what you're looking for is linear algebra. Like it's all linear algebra. I never really go outside of like projections, matrix transformations, basic vector math, things like that. I mean, I do. Let me see here. So this is more for graphics programming, but it's really interesting. It's called Book of Shaders. And what it does have that I think is really cool is it talks about knowing your curves, which is basically stuff like this. So you'd be surprised how often the things you're coding, you need some sort of weird curve for it. Or like you need to map a function from like if I have numbers on an interval from 0 to 1, if I have something on an interval from 0 to 1 and I just map it out to be y equals x, then I'm going to get this linear line here. But what if I'm like, okay, but what I actually want is for in the beginning for it to ramp up kind of slowly, but if you really go for it, like let's say with the web pole, if I had an interval from 0 to 1, I'm just explaining the two types of math that I do. It's basically this and linear algebra. So I'm skipping linear algebra for now and just telling you about this. But basically, let's say I like had a number from 0 to 1 that designated how hard they had pulled the web, like how fast they had pulled it. But I was like, yeah, but I don't really want a linear response. I don't want it to like, if you're this much faster, then it's this much harder, then it's going to like add this much more velocity to you. If it's, what if I want it to be exponential? So then you say like, okay, squared, and then you're like, okay, this looks more like what I want. Like at first it's going to be a slow increase, but then it's going to something like this. So it talks a lot about knowing your curves. So the Book of Shaders is good for stuff like that. Also, GraphToy is really nice for if you're trying to figure something out. So like, I think I was using it to try to figure out, I was trying to figure out how to make a triangle function, and this was really nice because it's very quick. It's a very quick way to check it out. So you say like, oh, okay, so far I have this, because you kind of just try to shape it out in your mind. So then you say like, okay, modulo 4, and then you're like, okay, yeah, but this isn't, you're like, okay, yeah, but this isn't exactly what I want. Let's do modulo 0.2. You're like, this isn't exactly what I want because I need it to go back down. So then you start like messing with it more. You say like, okay, well, maybe if I shifted it by 0.4, and then you're like, or like added 0.4 or whatever. And basically it just helps you do that stuff. And then if the other one, linear algebra, I think I learned a lot of my linear algebra from Khan Academy, honestly. I think he's got a linear algebra course. And that guy's a genius. Yeah, he's got a whole linear algebra course. Also, this guy, this guy's freaking epic as well. So he's got an Essence of Linear Algebra course. I would highly recommend these as well. This is really cool. I would say start with Essence of Linear Algebra, and then you can learn a bunch of other stuff like calculus and differential equations if you want. But this guy's really, really awesome. Like really crazy good content. You can start with the Essence of Linear Algebra, read the book of shaders, and that would pretty much get you all the math that you need to know, I'd say. But yeah. And then this is just a great resource. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's funny, after a while you like have this whole book of resources that you can come back to. Okay, so basically a dot product will tell you how aligned vectors are. So I'm basically getting like where I'm linked to my hand, then I'm getting the speed of my hand, and then I'm basically checking are those parallel to each other. So if I pull this way, it's not going to do a web pull. If I pull this way, it's not going to do it. And it's like a directional parallelism. But if I pull this way along that direction, it's going to say like, okay, he's trying to do a web pull. And then I'm basically counting and saying when that time is greater than web pull begin time threshold and pull cooldown is greater than the cooldown, do a pull and reset the timers. That all seems pretty good to me. I'm wondering if there's a better way I can do it at this point. I'm just thinking maybe I could do this in some sort of async await way, where maybe as soon as it's past the threshold, I call a function. Okay, so it passes the threshold, I call a function. In that function, it keeps checking. I don't know why I like want to do this differently if this already works, but for some reason that's how I want to do it. So let's see here. Like it's kind of totally unnecessary. I just feel like I must have had this poll cooldown because I was having problems with this. Like anytime you have a cooldown, it's because your code wasn't really that elegant. It's not like I just wanted. I was like, no, you can't pull that quickly. Don't no more of that. So that doesn't seem right. Okay. So then basically we will have a boolean, call it mid poll equals, well, it will default to false, so no reason to do that. And then we'll basically say if you're not mid poll and sorry, now I'm questioning my new strategy. I just don't know why I have the cooldown. It had to just be that you would pass the time. It had to be that you could get like multiple pulls in a second. Okay, that's fine. Let's just do it this way. I don't need to get crazy on this. Plus, what I was going to do was really no more elegant than this. Okay. Correct state. Check hand moving in right direction. Check in right direction for enough time. Cool. And of course, if you have any questions about the math while I'm doing it, feel free to ask. Oh, it looks like we're getting more subscribers too. So that's pretty cool. I need to put I got a little burnt on videos this week because I was putting out one like every day. So that maybe wasn't the best move, but I need to start. I think I'll take a break this weekend and then get back to it. Okay. So all this hand var state. Okay, looks like I'm only doing it in one place. Okay, I don't know why I wrote private on all these. Okay, let's see here. Basically, just need to know what hand I'm on. I don't like the idea of me needing web swing here, so I'm gonna get rid of that for now. Don't know why these would be global, so I'm gonna get rid of those. And then all this hand variable stuff. Yeah, I really should make another scriptable object for this. I'm not pumped about they having to do that, but I think that that's the right move. Okay, cool. Awesome for subs. I'll push your channel on other channels when they release videos. Might get a few more. What do you mean by that? Like someone else releases a channel and you post a comment or something like that? Or I don't know how that works. If I can just get one of these games released. Alright, Silk params. Exactly, just a little comment saying check this guy out. Alright, hell yeah. Yeah, I would totally appreciate that. That'd be epic. Yeah, I would very much appreciate that. Oh, do you have any cool plans for the weekend or anything like that? I don't know if it's still crazy cold in Canada. It's starting to get warm here, down in Georgia. So, not like I really do anything outside anyway, but it's cool to think that I might do something outside. I don't know if you play any sports or anything. Generate that one. 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 And this will be player spy dot rb dot velocity plus equals velocity. And I won't need to do that. Reset the timers. Don't know what this is about, so I'll get rid of it. Yeah, it's getting nicer. 45 right now compared to 28. No big plans, just rest. Yeah, fair enough. Man, dude, I don't know how north you are, but 48 doesn't exactly sound awesome. Although I guess if you live in the cold, you get used to it. Like supposedly, physiologically, you actually get used to it, and start thinking colder is better. Or cold, then like the cold doesn't really bother you as much. You get like a certain type of fat or something like that. Okay. Okay, then the only thing left really is to make an event. if you haven't noticed by now, I freaking love events, dude. Public action on Silk poll that other people can subscribe to. Nobody currently is, but I imagine audio will later. And then we need to basically subscribe to okay, so basically just subscribe to when it's latched. And then we'll make our own function void silk latched transform trans. And we'll say latch point and then here we'll have a vector3 latch point. Yeah, it's like I don't even know what I was doing before I knew about events. Like I think I mean, just horrible connections everywhere, I suppose. But yeah, it's just like you basically just make events for literally everything, and then nothing really even cares at all about anything else. It's extremely epic. And then I really am enjoying my whole state machine strategy nowadays because I didn't used to do it that way, and that was darker days, I'll say. Silk swing. Okay. So that should pretty much work, I think. What? Oh. Why is that public? Did I make that public for a reason? Okay, very cool. Let's see what that gets. Oh wait, silly me. I didn't create the scriptable object. Okay. Nor did I put it on the hands. I'm going to rename these because at this point, contextually, it's obvious that they're talking about the silk. Okay, let's see. So what do you do for work, Thought Drifter? Because you said earlier that university was a while back, so you must be older. I don't know, what's a good threshold for this? 0.6 maybe? Velocity threshold 2. Cooldown time 0.8 seconds maybe. How long do you have to pull for? 0.4 seconds. Okay, cool. Okay, I believe that's everything we need to do. It should be good to go. All right, let's see. All right, so let's make this 0.2, 1, and 0.1, just to make sure that our code is working correctly. Ooh, that's fun. Yay! Oh my gosh, so freaking epic, dude. Oh no. Alright, cool. So let's find some good values for this. Guess let's do 0.4. I don't know what the, like, hey, I'm actually trying threshold is, but let's call it 2. Let's make this 0.3. So one of those is messed up. Let's see if it's this one. Okay. Is it really the dot product? That seems hard to believe. So really that I can't hit 2? Okay, fair enough. Oh. Maybe 0.4 seconds is way longer than I think it is. I guess it is. So good. Such a good mechanic. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh. I really shouldn't be doing... Oh. Oh. Your stream died when I was answering your question. Couldn't access it. Yeah, the swinging is really freaking fun, dude. Couldn't access it for a bit. Oh, the stream, like the stream, I didn't notice it was down. Hopefully I wasn't down for everybody, but okay. I was waiting for a possible VR contract with medical department at local university here. Nokia sponsored, and another with a high risk job training company, but both put on long term hold. Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm doing the same right now. I just kind of am on unemployment due to COVID, so I'm just kind of chilling and making the best of it while I can. Um, and it sounds like you're doing. It sounds like you're doing the same. No, but okay. So you're like actively trying to work in VR. That's cool. I suppose I am as well. I'm trying to figure out what company I would want to do that for though. I think it would have to be a games company. I don't know if I could either that or like mobile development using Flutter or something like that. The only reason I would do that is just to get a new skill since or maybe I would want to come home and make games, and I'm just not sure I could do that if I was also working 8 hours a day in Unity on something else. But who knows? That's cool though. Those both sound fun. Which one do you? Would you rather the university? Well, I won't make you answer that in the stream, but I'm sure there's one that you would rather have. Very cool. Um, yeah, let's think. So that's coming together really well. The polling is really, really fun, I'll say. Okay, so our options from here are basically shoop shoop shoop. Yay. Our options from here are basically do some audio work. Yeah, it's either do some audio work or I was considering that maybe I wanted to make something where I just don't know why I would do this besides the fact that I really want to. But basically, if you shoot and you take this one and release, it would put it in this hand. And then you would be holding two, and you could just keep doing that. I think that I just want to be like that part in Spider-Man 2 where he's shooting like 60 webs and he's stopping the train with it, you know? Just such a cool scene. So maybe I'll take a look at that because the audio won't be too bad. Let me look at what I'd need to do to make that happen. It's not that crazy. I mean, basically it all starts with in released. Basically, this all starts with in release. I would do a sphere cast. I would do a sphere cast. I would see if the other hand was within that sphere cast. If it is, then instead of dropping it, instead of unjointing and dropping it, I would just set the draw silks script hand to the other hand. I would just set it to the other hand. And let me see, draw silk. .NET C# developer and they got deleted. Like you think something went wrong and they got deleted? Because I guess there's nobody in here that could delete them, and obviously I didn't delete them. Let me scroll through here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. They must have just not come through for some reason. Is that a thing? Are there Autobots that will like they think maybe you're spamming because it like did they have links in them or something maybe? Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I didn't. Okay, but you're a .NET developer. Okay, very cool. So then you're like set to go for Unity basically. I wonder if there's a way for me to turn those off. Although I guess they're probably there for a reason. I get like Autobot posts on my YouTube videos as well. So maybe that's why they're in here. But yeah, no, that's cool. So you're like set up. You're basically ready to go for game development. That's cool. It's the hardest part I think for people is learning the programming. Yeah, but bored, want to do VR game dev full time, thinking of moving to Montreal where VR is currently hot. Yeah, I think Montreal's pretty good for games in general. Don't they have isn't Rocksteady in Montreal? And I think they were making some VR stuff. No, it's based in London. Why was I thinking it was based in Montreal? I'm pretty sure they have a Montreal division. Warner Brother Games, Montreal. Yeah, that would be really cool. I was considering I might apply to Shell Games. They do AR VR stuff and they're a good company. They did Until You Fall and I Expect You to Die. And I worked there over the summer one time. Yeah, I mean, I certainly think you would have more fun doing game development than just kind of random C# development. Not that programming's not fun, but it's certainly not game development, you know? You're not making something like really amazing and fun for everybody. Okay, or at least, you know, obviously people get a lot of fulfillment just from coding. Okay, so in this one, there's this whole silk dropped. Okay, so I think I would basically just unsubscribe, then subscribe. Maybe I can even just write this in an accessor. Get set. In the set, we're basically going to, I guess it's going to make me do this as well. This is so silly right now. Yeah, but any of those companies would be really cool to work for. On silk abandoned minus equals silk dropped. Okay, so first, if you're setting it, first remove it. Then hand equals value. Then add this. Okay, and then you shouldn't need to do this here. And this will still happen here. Except this time, it'll use the private variable. Okay, cool. So first of all, let's just make sure that that works the same. And then we'll... Dude, do what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make like a game studio that doesn't rely at all on money from the games, but just gets money from YouTube or TikTok and things like that. I feel like that would be a sick idea because then you can just get other people who are doing a similar thing who are also supported by YouTube or TikTok and bring them onto the team, and then you could slowly start making better and better games. And it won't even matter if you're making money from the games because you're all just surviving off of YouTube and TikTok, you know? So it's kind of like an infinitely expanding company in that way. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, easier said than done. All right. Oh my gosh, it really stresses me out when I fall. Let's shoot a few webs. That's a problem. What's up?
Is Coda in your room?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, cool. Do you want me to let him out?
I think he wants to go out now, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, we might have to go on a search if Coda's not in here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, starting your own studio would be so cool. Let's see. I need to turn on this state Canvas again. I forgot that I didn't have this. Let's see here. Yeah, the money aspect is really tough though, because once you get a life set up, you know, and you're used to having some money, I don't really know how you get out of that. I don't really know how you're supposed to get out of that. Like, especially if you have kids and a family and whatnot. You can't just suddenly not be making money, so your company needs to make money fast. You know, and with a game company, that's not exactly... I think the best move, honestly, is probably just to either work on investments until you make enough passive income to do it, or to go work at a company and meet a bunch of... Because the people who work at game companies are very talented. And if you connect with somebody enough, you can probably start a company with them. And they'll be good partners in general. This is the problem with this game. I'd start playing and then... Yeah, I actually did a Kickstarter. I had done a Kickstarter before, and it did work, and so that was pretty cool. It's a really weird experience, I'll say. We ended up getting most of our money just from friends and family, so it wasn't exactly that impressive, I'd say. But people on Kickstarter love games, that's for sure. I'd be great at managing one, just working on getting the right pieces together. When you say manage, you mean like full-on businessman manage? Or do you mean like creative director? Or do you mean like full logistics? Okay, cool. So that's all working. So now let's see if we can basically do a sphere. I guess we're gonna do a sphere cast. Let's take a look at these hands. We'll add a layer to these. Call it hand. We'll go into physics. Currently hand does not interact with anything. Then we'll come back here and we'll label these hand. Then we'll make here, label these hand. Is it a trigger? No. I'm not actually positive that this is... No, it should work. Radius. Let's go 0.2. Cool. And then we'll do the same thing on here. Radius 0.2. Yeah, but me and my brother did a Kickstarter for Grove that I thought was pretty cool. We ended up getting like 16. So that was fun to put together. A lot of work though. But I'm proud of it, I'd say. Dude, I didn't know check sphere was a thing. It's an extremely epic query to be able to say like, yeah, check the sphere around this point if any of the objects are in there. And layer, and if you're not using layers and then masking layers, that's the move for sure. Because it just saves a lot of physics. I think supposedly I'm supposed to switch it to this. Okay. I was seeing that somewhere. And then, what layer is that? 12. So we'll shift it over 12. Shift it over 12. We'll put it in here. And we'll say if this, else this. Okay, and then basically for the hand transfer, I guess I need to get the other hand. Do I have a hand type? That was sick. So what, I need to get the other hand. Okay, this is a little more of a problem than perhaps I thought. Because I need the web container. No, wait. Oh, wait, no, that's not true, actually. because I just do it to this one. Get component. And then we'll go to this, and we'll call it get other hand. Oop. Okay, and hopefully that works, and just through the magic of good coding, everything works without breaking. If it does, that would be extremely awesome, considering the fact that I wouldn't have, I don't know, that just seems like something that would be hard to program. And if it just works nicely like that, that would be really cool. All right, first problem. First problem, this is too big. Let's go 1 decimeter. Even that seems pretty big. Let's go 0.05. And then when we're casting, 0.2 is probably too big as well. And that was probably the radius even, yeah. Let's do 0.05 on that one as well. And then the other problem is if it's hitting it and get other hand dot state equals hand states dot swinging. Okay, very cool. Then transfer. All right, you shoot it. You drop it. You shoot it. You drop it. Shoot it, shoot it. Together. Okay, so I'm like, pew. Wee. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Okay, okay. Which one was I attached to? I transfer the left one. And I was attached to the left one. Okay, so I have my two webs. Yeah. Alright, and now I'm kind of just swinging on them. Oh my god, this is so epic. I have to make this work. It's so useless, but so extremely epic. I don't know why I love this so much. Just up here, like, making this web. So yeah, making a sweet web up here. No big deal. It's just like in the movie. Yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. I got time, and it's extremely cool. So, all right, let me go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. So I thought that would be cool, and it was just like 10 times cooler than I thought it was going to be. So we're definitely going to see if we can get that to work. I see two problems currently. One, one obvious problem, when you let go, it doesn't destroy both the joints. It only destroys one of them. I was away for a bit. My neighbor just showed up with fresh ground coffee. They own a coffee shop and roast their own beans. I cleared snow from their walkway all winter, so they brought it as a gift. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, heck yeah. That's so cool. I'm sure their coffee is like way better than normal, way better than whatever you would get at Starbucks or anything like that too. Do you know what type of roast they do? Do they do like French roast dark or I found out a little while ago there's like a whole bunch of other roast types. It's like they have like half city roast. It's like how long you cook it, yeah. But most places just do dark. Yeah, here we go. It like goes up to French. Most people do French, but it goes all the way down to half city. And supposedly these have more flavor and they taste less burnt, but nobody does them for some reason. I think it's a storage issue where these will like go bad quickly. Um, did you saw the last bit about putting the webs together? And it is extremely awesome. Yes. But there's some bugs. So I need to work on that. Namely that it does not release the joint for both of them. Let me see. Yeah, because that joint is getting destroyed here. What if I didn't destroy it here? What if I instead destroyed it on draw silk? That's not very smart. But it becomes smart if I rename this to Silk Strand. And suddenly it's smart. All right, cool. Oh, jeez, I'm like getting unflexible. Okay. So don't do it there, but in here, I will unsubscribe, set hand to null. God, dude, I've gotten so much better at programming. Like, it's just so, I mean, it's probably a little over self-indulgent, but I feel like my code is so much more elegant than it used to be. Like it used to just be a freaking mess, and adding any functionality was like a huge pain. And the quickness that I've gotten this in, I'm just really happy with myself right now. Let's see, all right, let's see. So then I also want to destroy K component. What was it? A character joint? Okay, and let's see how that goes. Dang it. I need to get rid of draw silk. I accidentally resaved it. Classic problem. All right, let's see. Shoot to put it together. I'm still stuck to it. I see. I was like, no way, that's totally, it should have worked. Are you a big coffee drinker, Thought? I didn't actually know if Canadians were coffee drinkers. Or, you know, you never know if a country is tea or if it's coffee, I feel like. Does that work? Can you do that? Is it like an if statement? Yeah, it looks like it. Eh. Okay, so it's a little bit more complicated than maybe I thought. It's still coming together nicely, but there's certainly some edge cases. At this point, each silk strand should probably handle.
I don't think it really
Okay. So I have this idea of a current web container, the one that you're currently working with, but obviously that doesn't really work now, considering last node destroy I think just moving more and more of this into Silkstrand will kind of I think moving more and more of it into Silkstrand is going to let me is going to fix a lot of the problems that I'm having. Should I set the node? I mean, I could have like a silk variables. Or I could have like a silk scriptable object. Do you use any of the OVR stuff or only XR interaction toolkit? I use OVR stuff when I have to. Like when I'm specifically checking if they're in focus, like are they in the Oculus menu, stuff like that. But I try as hard as I can to stay away from Oculus stuff. I'm not really making stuff that's cross-platform, but I think that it's just a better idea in general to use Unity stuff. Because, I don't know if Oculus will always be on top, so it's probably best that I just kind of stay general. But yeah, I'll use them sometimes when I have to, but only when I have to. How should I get this lead node? I mean, I'm sure, like, surely it should be a property of... Surely it should be a property of the silk. I don't know what the best way for the silk strand to access a prefab would be. Silk strand needs to access a prefab. I don't really want to have to dependency inject it from silk swing. But it's not the worst necessarily. And then this, we might just be able to do hand kit components. Wait, why am I using... Yeah, okay. Why am I using the private version? Should be doing this. And then that just leaves lead node, which let's just go ahead and set it. Yeah, there's not like a great way to get prefabs from script currently. I mean, you can put it in the resources folder and get it from there. I could use asset database, but that all just seems really expensive for what I'm trying to do here. And this is still a lot. Let's make that one and see what happens. And what was I just doing? Lead node preference. Let's see what that gets us. I'm like so not sure if this is going to run on the Quest. I don't think it's going to have problems. I'm really not doing anything truly that crazy. I don't think a few joints ever hurt anybody, but hard to say really. What the freaking heck? Hmm. I see. This is an interesting problem. So maybe it is that you want to use the... Maybe it is that you want to use the private version. I guess I'm not even really sure why I'm setting it equal to null. Nah, that makes sense to me. Okay, let's check this out. Repeating get component for the same component might add up over time. Might want to get in the habit of getting a reference to it only once. Yeah, it really... So I'll grab a reference to it if I am doing it in something like an update, or... Which one are you talking about specifically? So the reason I'm... And especially since this variable is changed pretty dynamically, I don't always know which hand it's going to be, so I can't really set the reference. I mean, I could probably set it in here. But yeah, it only happens when you're releasing or switching hands, so it's not really too much of a worry for me. But I agree that in general, you want to grab a reference if you're going to be doing it a lot. Not sure it was in the previous file. So it would have been, I guess it would have been either here or it's somewhere in here. And then over here, yeah, I'd say if I did this one more time, I would probably cache it. But currently, I'm not too worried about it, since I only do it twice. Okay. And since it only happens once when you press it down. Okay. So let's see. But yeah, I think that kind of comes down more to how intense the game you're making is and personal preference probably. Okay. Why did it add them? So that's another thing. So that's another thing. You shouldn't switch if... bool both hands attached equals this, and hand dot state equals hand. Do you know if there are any languages yet that have allowed you to say, like, I guess what would it be here? Get other hand state, and I guess it would be like and hand dot state with a parentheses around them equals hand states dot swinging. I feel like that would be nice, and it's a little more readable. Or maybe it's not to people who have been programming for a while. But I always like, I don't know. I just feel like that would be nice. But I've never really seen a language that does it. Okay. And both hands attached. Let's check that out. Would LINQ allow you to do something like that? I thought it was just like an array list manipulation tool. Is LINQ a language? Oh, okay. I see. So yeah, it could be could even extend to if statements or something like that. Yeah, because you could say like maybe like where blank and maybe it would be like, yeah. Maybe it would be like where 80 and 20 greater than 15 or something like that. I see. I see. Do you use that a lot in your normal C# programming for your job? I never really get the chance to use it in Unity, mainly because I feel like it's so inefficient that I wouldn't be able to get away with it. Especially since when I want to use it, it's normally because I have some sort of like crazy long array or something like that. Okay, both hands attached. I'm telling you, that jumping stresses me out every time. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what? You know what? I just realized. I was wondering why that was so. Quite a bit, yeah, it needs to be optimized, but it's better alternative than SQL. I didn't know SQL was also. I thought SQL was its own language for servers. I thought it was like a backend language. It's a C# thing? Or you're just saying that you could bring SQL into C# or something? Or is SQL must be a style of database or something? That was a little prior to my database times. Now I'm using, now it is, or sorry, when I started learning it was like Node.js was all the rave. And Mongo for a little while, and now it's all about AWS or Google Cloud. Okay. So the sphere cast. All right, what's the move here? I could either make two different layers, call it left hand and right hand, and then cast for that layer depending on what hand you're in. Or I could turn off the collider and turn it back on. I guess I'm just going to make 2 layers. I don't know, that seems a little weird. But that's probably what I'm going to do. Left hand, right hand. Right hand. Physics. Right hand does not interact with anything either. How many layers I have, how big this triangle is. Okay. And then here we'll basically say hand equals come on. It's 12, otherwise it's 13. All right, let's try that out. What was the last thing I fixed before that? I don't remember. Oh, it was, I think, just a simple bug about setting the wrong variable. No, that's not what it was. It was something else. Okay. First of all, I'll shoot them. Something's still wrong there. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we can fix that now. Oh no. Okay, so the positioning is off. Positioning is off when it's dropped. That should be an easy fix. And also it, what was it? I don't remember. Let's do the positioning first. Yeah, transform dot position. Hand dot transform dot position. Okay, and then oh yeah, back to the math though. Yeah, games are just really fun. It's really fun because in standard computer science, once you've kind of learned the SDK and the framework in the language that you're working in, I often feel like there's not a ton more to learn. But with games, as soon as you pick up like whatever math you need, that you're on to some other form of math or some other part of a game that requires different math and stuff like that. So it's kind of just this like ever expanding. And then even if you were able to catch up on everything that they've been doing, the field is increasing so fast that you have to learn what's happening next. So that's really cool. When you're against a wall, tricky to find a balance between if characters should grab and climb or spin web to catch on. Yeah, I think it's a little bit harder to see from the 2D perspective, but in VR, you have a pretty good grasp of how close your hand is to the wall. So I'm basically just doing a sphere cast and checking like, hey, is your hand on the wall? And if it is, grab the wall. Like if your hand is not on the wall, then I just shoot the web. Yeah, but I agree. On a 2D screen, you can't really tell how close my hand is to the wall, so it's kind of like a toss-up maybe. But it's fairly more clear in VR. Yeah, on complex math, I feel like I would collab or hire someone much better at creative stuff. Yeah, fair enough. It's totally fair. It never really gets that complicated, I'll say. Or at least the math I'm doing. But it's not like I'm the guy who's like programming the new... it's not like I'm the guy like reading research papers on clouds and then And then writing the new like dynamic day system, that would be really rough. So you're right. Yeah, I'm not doing that stuff. What was it? I just fixed the position, but there was something else. Oh, it was still putting. I mean, am I crazy? What's going on here? I see. I see. I was wrong logic on my point. They should be switched. Because if you're the left hand, you want to hit the right hand, not if you're the left hand, you want to hit the left hand. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Once you, like, because math is just so much cooler once you're using it to do game stuff. Like, it's just so much better, like, exponentially better. Especially if you're doing something visual. So you'd probably really like this stuff. If you're creative thought, you'd probably really like the, like, because this is, like, pure math. It's called Shader Toy. Um, and if you find yourself getting into graphic stuff, this guy, Inigo Quiles, is like world renowned, pretty much the best there is, and he does a bunch of articles on basically just a bunch of stuff. But he also made this thing called Shader Toy, which is basically they use math to create these procedural looking things like this. Like this is all just math. They're not using textures or anything. And then if you look at like, yeah, I accept it. IQ himself, Inigo Quiles, he is a freaking monster, dude. I'm telling you. It's a slow website, but it'll load up in a second here. I mean, this guy creates some crazy stuff. It's like he did these clouds. It's so slow to render in. Like, okay, let me grab a few of them. Oh, my internet's not bad. I don't know what's happening. Also don't remember why I was showing you Shader Toy. I guess I just got excited about it. I wonder if the website's getting more traffic nowadays. Because kind of the whole point of writing things procedurally is that they're really, like this is only like 40 kilobytes of code. So, I mean, I don't know what's taking so long, but yeah, so this is all just like procedural. Like he didn't use any. It's crazy what you can do with just math, I'll say that. I used to create visual. Oh, I was saying that you might like this kind of stuff. Yeah, like, because this is like pure creation right here. And it's totally visual, it's really creative. So it hits a good middle ground. I used to create visuals with math, sine, cosine based formulas, and make my buddies trip when they were on shrooms law. That's funny. Wow, that's impressive, noted. They're like, whoa, and you're like, yeah, it's just math, really. It's so funny. Yeah, this guy is crazy. And this is just, he's showcasing a technique on ray marching primitive shapes. And then he did the clouds. But like, look at all this math. It's freaking crazy. Anyway, cool guy. Yeah, actually, once I got into VR, I had a lot of people who were. I mean, you could probably amp up the shroom experience using VR, but I had a lot of people who were like, "Yeah, we should make like a music visuals sort of app," and I'm like, "You mean I should make a music visuals sort of app?" And they're like, "Yeah." Okay, so I think I had fixed. Yeah, okay. Pew. No, no. Okay, let's check this out. Shoot a web, shoot a web. It drops it. It drops it. Shoot these two webs. Put it together. This one's idle. It drops those. I'm free to go. My hand says idle. What was the other thing? Oh yeah. Seems like a good distance to me. Okay, and with my changes, I have broken a part of it. That's fine. Let's check this out. Yeah, that guy's done work for like... Alright, what's the problem here? If... Oh, you know what it must be? So it's subscribing to Unsilk Abandoned. Damn. Alright. This could be a tough one. It's an order of operations problem. So when I release, it's going to say that it's going to call this event. And the hand state is going to change. The problem is the hand state is going to change. Okay, so what if the heuristic is different? What if it's not that the hand state is equal to shooting a web? What if it's that the first child has a fixed joint on it? Transform.get child 0, which will always be the lead node, .get component fixed joint is not equal to null. Sorry, is equal to null. Then it should work. Perfect. I need to put myself down here because they're just stressing me out jumping. Alright. That's going to be a quick way to tank performance on the quest. Alright. Okay, cool. So now the problem is, I think this is the last one before dealing with another problem, which I think is hopefully the last one. Is that if I shoot... Okay, so I actually need to increase that distance a little bit. Make it 0.1. Double the distance? Do I really need double the distance? 0.75 maybe. Oh, you know what? Why is it suddenly so freaking big? I think the position is actually not quite. Oh, point. Okay, my bad. I was like, what the heck? Okay, and it's almost 5, but we're just gonna keep going. It's Friday, and I want to finish this. Oh, ow. Alright. Ow! Fool me twice. Alright. Okay. Yes, okay. I switch hands. I switch hands. I switch hands. Only one switches, the others drop. No bueno. And that should be the last thing that I need to solve. And then it will just be some other stuff. Unfortunately, that's the one that I have the least vision on how I would solve. So let's see. I mean, I think it would just amount to... Alright, so I basically have these silk strands that are kind of taking care of themselves now at this point. You set a hand for it. And then over here, you check. and you take the web container, that's your current one, and you set its hand to the other one. I suppose just a thought. Web disappears fast. Thinking of mechanics where you would need to weave some to walk on. Spiders weave to walk on more than swing. But games are so fast these days. Yeah, no, I mean, I consider that idea. It wouldn't be too bad, because once it's connected, I would just have to put a collider that I mark as a floor on it, and then you would be able to kind of like walk on it. The problem is, it's so quickly... I'm just worried about Quest performance. It's such a weak headset. It so quickly turns into a mess if they can... I mean, so then yeah, you're right. All I would really need to do is... Let's go into to-do. Okay, so I did that. I don't know that I care so much about that one. Oh my gosh, it would be epic to be able to climb your silk in addition to walking on it, to be able to shoot it and then climb it. Okay, so I'll probably do this. You're right, this is clearly... It's not really a can of worms necessarily. It's kind of a can of performance worms, but... I mean, how much of a can of worms is it really? All I would do is have a silk strand pool, and then if there's more than 20, delete the last one and just make a new one. I don't even have to make it a pool. Like, I don't even have to reuse the objects. I can just straight up delete it and make a new one. Because it's not like it's bullets where I'm firing 60 of them, you know? So it's really not that bad. I think you're right. I'll probably want to do that. That would be extremely epic. I mean, I will have bugs. Like, because I don't know what kind of structures these guys are going to build. So for sure I'm going to get bugs, but... Man, I want to do that. Alright, I might do that next. That would be so epic. But let's see if we can get this. Okay, so the strands are taking care of themselves. Or maybe I'll mark this down. I basically just want to get in. The strands are taking... I want to get in some audio because my friend is going to want to play this, and I want the audio to play when he does a web poll. Man, climbing on your silk is such a good idea. It's so extremely epic. I have a web container for my current, and the only reason I know what what object I'm shooting is because I just shot it. But as soon as I shoot another one, that's totally lost. And I'm setting it to the... And it's not like I'm grabbing the hand and giving it another silk strand. I'm just telling the silk strand that it now belongs to another hand. So the hand really has no reference. Of what silk strands it's holding onto. I could... Sound is simple, just a guy similar to someone lifting weights. So I have the, I do have the sounds for that already. Just because I was making this previously. Let's see, web poll. So, that should be fine. I just need to write the code for it. Okay, so I'm almost thinking that I, again, can offload... This I would not be proud of. But it is a path. I could basically have a list on the Silk Swing. You basically have a list on Silk Swing of, like, active webs, active silk strands. Then when I set the hand, I could basically have that hand, because the hand has reference to soak swing. It has a reference to soak swing. I could basically add myself to their list, but then it's like a whole cross dependency thing. But I don't know if that really matters. Yeah, it could add itself, and then when it destroys itself, it could remove itself. So it's not really. So it's not that crazy. Could add itself and remove itself, and then what else was I thinking? Because what was I trying to solve? Just switching hands. And then you would basically just, for each one in your hand, switch it. Okay, let's try that. Where do I have the container? Okay. Don't I spawn a web container? Active soak strands. Soak under the hands domain. If hand is not equal to null. Unsubscribe, but also. Man, I keep hitting this like to get component. I keep hitting this like to get components, and if it was a third, I would cache it, but I just don't want to. Active soak strands dot remove this dot remove transform. Okay, and then I set it, and if it's not null, then again do the to thing. And do active soak strands dot add transform. Okay, yeah, so I'm setting it to null. When I set it, if it's not equal to null, if it's not equal to null, okay, so I don't need to do this down here, I don't think. Because okay, I'll leave it for now just while I'm solving what I'm solving, because I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna unsubscribe basically, and I'm gonna remove myself from its hand. Then I'm gonna set it to the new value. Then if that value is not null, I'm gonna subscribe to it, and I'm gonna add myself to its active strands. Okay, cool. So that all makes sense. Then over here, alright, and this is where the problems arise. Because I'm setting the hand. And then I would just think that, like in here, I could see me very easily creating the web container and then adding that to my active silk. But if I do that over here, it's going to add it twice because I'm going to set the hand value on it. And it's going to say, oh, okay, it's not null. Add my transform. Now, I wonder, do hash sets? Hey, Austin. Hey, I'll show you in a second this new stuff I got. Do you, Thought Drifter, do you know off the top of your head if a hash set will handle duplicates itself? Like, will a hash set take care of that for me? I got some really cool stuff to show you, Austin, so check it out in a minute. Represents a set of values. The following example on how to... that contains no duplicate elements and whose elements are in no particular order. Does the ordering matter? Yes, it'll error out if duplicate exists. But like it's not going to, when I do add, and then I try to add something to a hash set, it's not going to be like, hey, there's already something in there, but we took care of it for you. It's going to be like, no, error, bad. I guess I could try it. I've never used it before, so I might as well give it a go. All right, let's do this. The other option is, of course, that we could just run through it and say if it doesn't contain it, go ahead and add it. And that just would keep my code fine. But that just seems really unperformant for... Me and Eric might come over tomorrow night too. Yeah, you for sure should. Just don't add the same key. I'm realizing now I don't know how hash sets work at all. Is it like a dictionary? I'm gonna have to... No, I can just add things. Okay, so I'm just gonna shoot the silk. And let's go ahead and let's run the error and see what happens. So we're gonna instantiate it. Then let's go ahead and add it. Active silk strands.add. And let's see what happens. I know but I guess it did say it's high performance, so it's probably faster. My guess would be that on a hash set, if exists, is probably faster than in just a normal list, where it's going to have to run through each of them. I assume they're doing some hashing on the back end that makes it efficient. No reference, that's not what I expected. Oh, my bad. Classic. Huh. Okay, it looks like it handles it for you. You gotta check that link I dropped when you get a chance. Austin, I must have some sort of automatic link deleter. No, no problem. I mean, I didn't know what a hash that was. I must have some sort of automatic link deleter, Austin, because I'm not seeing your message, and I think this happened to Thought Drifter earlier. I don't know why it's deleting messages. I don't know how to turn that off. Cool. So we'll use this hash set. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do though, actually, because I'm curious. Add it, and then I'm gonna print out count, because I want to see if there's one or two. Oh, okay, cool. One. All right, hash sets for the win. Okay, I'll start using those bad boys. That's sweet. Because I don't think order is going to matter here. Okay, and I was only doing that to check that I'm not going to ruin it, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to let the silk strand handle it. And is there any sort of, I wonder if there's like a design where I can make this accessible only to other classes and not my class. That would be interesting, like the setting, like it's a public get, but like some sort of external is that a word? External? No. Yeah, whatever. All right, cool. So that's cool. So we have this hash set, active silk strands, and you create this container. Which, where is this even used? There. Okay, cool. So we won't really even need that anymore. Then we'll make a for loop here, int x equals 0, x less than active silk strands dot count, x plus plus. Is that not how they work? Dot get. Oh no. How do you access things in a hash set? Cool. All right, hopefully this works. And I don't see a need to run this a whole bunch, so I'll cache that. I don't think it is key-based. Is it key-based? I wasn't really seeing anything about a key. Can I do like active silk strands? Or I guess it would be a transform. I don't think it is key based, from what I could see. I think that's dictionaries again. Hash said C#. Let's jump back in there. All right, anyway. All right, Austin, we'll hope that this works. And that... Okay, so now it's transferring all of them. And in here, it's removing and adding. And that pretty much seems good to me. I still want to get rid of this. I just don't think that I need it. All right, you ready, Austin? Because this is freaking epic. Okay, so I don't think you've seen this either, but first of all, you can now swing like a champ. So you're like, whoa, yeah, get crazy, baby. Okay. Okay, but then, well, I'll show you here. You can shoot 2 webs, and you can switch hands. So now you have this one, and then you put them all. You go pew pew pew, pew pew pew, and you make yourself a nice little web right here. You know how it is when you're a silkworm and you're always making silk. And then hopefully I can. Yeah, it totally worked. Hell yeah. Yeah, baby. Okay, cool. And you can also do a web pull now. Dang it. Hey, what the hell? I guess there's something wrong with while you're moving. This is so epic. This is so freaking hilarious. How funny is this? Okay, anyway. Sorry, I get so caught up in it. Collection was modified. Enumeration may not execute. What's... Oh, I see. Interesting. Oh yeah, that's an interesting problem. Because as I set the hands, it's removing it from the hash set. The obvious answer being cache a array of transforms made from that hash set, then work on that array. Wow, Austin didn't care at all about my progress. Let's see. Okay, for now, let's just do that. Hey, Nick Monet. No problem, dude. You are joined by Austin and Thought Drifter. I believe Thought was here when you were first here. We've made some pretty sweet progress, Nick, so I'll show you in a second. But for right now, I'm doing something real quick. And I believe a for each over an array will get compiled to. I believe it will get compiled to a normal for loop, which is much faster than a for each. So I'll just do a for each here. Okay, cool. So let me just make sure this makes sense. So you create an array of silk strands, go through the active silk strands, grab each silk strand off of it, put it into that array, then set this. Yeah, that seems good. I guess if my brain was working a little better right now, maybe I could come up with a way to fix that problem in a more elegant way, I suppose. But I like the way Silkstrand works right now. I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll take the hit over here. Or maybe I'll find some inspiration later tonight. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Nick, check this out. Okay, so first of all, you can web pull now. So if I shoot over here, I can pull myself towards it. And then of course I can shoot two strands, but mainly what I've been working on is the idea that I can, dang it, I can put multiple strands in one hand and then I can keep shooting to sort of lock. There must be some problem with then I can keep shooting and locking myself in. I can also switch back hands and do the same over here. And now I have this cool sort of webby thing. So I'm pretty happy with that. The problem now is that what was it? The web pull doesn't really work with multiple of them. So I can't pull along that one. I can only pull along this one up here. But for now, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I don't think that's a crazy huge deal. Okay. So let's get web poll audio in, and then let's call it there, because that was some pretty good progress. I need to... Oh, man. Okay, cool. So that's called web poll. Duplicate that. We'll call it silk poll sound. Give it web poll. Sure, we'll spatialize it. We will not loop it. Left-hand slide. Okay. I'm starting to get hungry. So it actively has a method for contains. It does. Okay, I see. It seems so. It automatic from my testing. It automatically does this for you. Like it guarantees a unique set. But I suppose you also might just want to know if it contains something at any random point. But it looks like it's nice in that you don't have to call it. You're right, Fry. Okay. Thank you for doing some research for me on that one. I appreciate that. This was the dream, dude. This was the dream, that I was going to have like a sweet community. And they'd be able to help me out. Really fun. I really appreciate it. You guys hanging out with me, first of all. And second of all, helping me. It's really cool. Okay. So I wanted to play a sound, and I basically have everything I need for that. It's basically going to be this in here. I need an event on silk poll. On silk poll, question mark, dot invoke. Okay, and then we need a sound effect. We'll call it silk poll sound effect. Plays the silk poll sound effect. Okay, cool. So then I guess I basically need the audio clip. Audio clip SO poll clip, then an enable and disable. I will need to subscribe to silk poll. Play sound, get rid of that, silk poll dot on silk poll plus equals play sound. Okay, do a minus equals here. And then we'll do set with SO, pull clip, audio source dot. I guess we'll want to do okay, cool. I was thinking that I need to follow the hand for the duration of it playing, but I think because it's under the player, once I set it to the hand's not really going to move so much locally to the player that you're going to notice. So I think as soon as I set it, it'll play, and even if you move your hand a little bit, you won't really notice. And it should be fine. Transformed up position equals, I guess we can just do silk pull that transformed up position. And then we'll hit it with the old audio source dot play. Okay, very cool. We'll go ahead and copy these. Let me know if you have any questions about this, Nick. Okay, so then we have these two. We'll go ahead and add an audio source to them. We'll remove this. We'll add silk pull sound effect. We'll make this public so that we can set it. You'll see now it pulls up because I made it public. Very cool. Left hand gets the left hand. Right hand gets the right hand. Should be good. And that should be all we need for this audio here. Let's check it out. God, I want to make it so you can climb on the silk strand so bad now. Such a good idea. I see. I made a classic mistake. Forgot to set this as well. Come on. What did I call it? Oh. My bad. And now we should be good to go. Huh. Ow. And it is spatialized. So that's good. I guess. No. Okay, cool. So it does work. Yeah, you'll have to play it tomorrow when you come over, Austin. It is just pretty much just as fun as it looks. It's probably more fun than it even looks. So that's cool. Um, oh my goodness, that was a good day. We solved some hard problems. And I guess that's pretty much all it needs to be a good day. We got some cool stuff in. I suppose next time, if I can hold off over the weekend, which is probably not the case, I mean, dang, what do we even have left? I'm not even sure. I think that's pretty much it. Did I just finish the game? Which would mean I can go on to extraneous stuff that I didn't think I'd get to. So I'm thinking, like, definitely I want to be able to climb on these webs that I'm slinging and creating. I'm also thinking it'd be cool to create a script where if there's enough of a... I guess what... Okay, so you have a bundle of strands. But they don't really know about each other is the problem. I'm just thinking, like, if I shoot off, like, 16 of them and connect them all together, then when I let go, it should just stay, realistically. But only if there's enough of, like, a radial... Like, obviously, if I shoot two this direction, they shouldn't stay. It's only if I have some that are perpendicular. So then the equation is basically like, okay, if there's enough of a dot product difference between the vectors from the start to the end, if I find out that there's enough of a difference there, then make it stay, otherwise make it fall. The problem is now that the strands are totally taken care of themselves. Yeah, no, I am gonna do the coins. I am gonna do the coins for sure. And I guess I do need to polish a bunch of stuff. The coins will be cool. I was almost thinking if I can make some sort of enemy, I can put the coins in the enemy. Like when you beat the enemy, it's a coin, instead of just coins. But I think that might be a little out of my wheelhouse right now with the time that we have left. Because I don't even know what that enemy would be. I mean, it literally could just be like... in the simplest form, it could be like a floating orb. It could be like a floating orb. Let's say it sits right here, and when it sees you, it starts just shooting stuff at you. And you have to, like, swing up and touch it or punch it. I don't know. I don't know what you would do with this thing. But then you start getting into a bunch of stuff like... like needing to be able to shoot a web onto it. Like you should be able to hook it, then fling a web, and like attach it to something. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'll have to put some thought into it over the weekend. But yeah, I don't know how these silk strands are gonna... And okay, this is something else I'll put thought into over the weekend. For right now, it's pretty good though. Yeah, because you should be able to... It's no fun... Like, climbing webs is basically extremely useless unless you can shoot all of them, put them together, and then have it stick there. I suppose it could be as simple as offering up the hand some control, like when it releases it, if the hash set is bigger than some amount, then Dang it. Anyway, I'll think about it. But hook to enemy and pull kills it, exposes coins. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. But the hooking to the enemy part is a whole thing I'd have to figure out. Because it requires like, oh, now I need to make a joint between the start and the end of the web. Like there's a bunch of really cool stuff we could do there. I just don't know if I can get it done and have it bug free by the end of the month. So I don't know. I don't know yet. But thank you everybody who joined. I appreciate your guys' company and I appreciate you guys in general. And the thoughts as well. So obviously the thought to climb the webs came from thought, so the game will be much better for it. But yeah. Thanks for the stream. Catch you guys later. Yeah, you as well. And I'll see you, Austin, and I'll see you, Nick. Have a good weekend. I hope you guys have fun.